All right, let's talk about something that I know gives people a headache. Figuring out the right sign-in method when you're connecting your on-premises world to the cloud. So today, we're going to cut right through all the noise around Microsoft Entra ID and give you a clear, straightforward guide to building the perfect identity bridge for your organization.
Yeah, if looking at those letters makes your head spin, trust me, you are not alone. A lot of IT pros feel like they're just drowning in jargon, but by the end of this, you're going to have a clear map. So let's start by really pinning down the core challenge we're all facing.
At the end of the day, what are we all really trying to do here? It's about building that perfect bridge, a secure, seamless identity bridge that connects your good old on-premises Active Directory to all those shiny cloud applications. And if you're an admin, you live this balancing act every single day, right? How do you get that top-tier security without making life miserable for your users with complexity? And how do you build a system that's always on, super resilient, without creating this massive, complicated beast to manage? It's a really tough spot to be in. Well, the good news is you've got options, and we're going to break them down. So let's meet the three main contenders for your identity bridge.
All right, first up, we've got password hash synchronization, or PHS for short. Just think of this one as the simple and reliable synchronizer. What it does is it takes a secure, one-way cryptographic hash of your user's passwords. And let's be super clear, it's not the passwords themselves, just a secure representation. And it syncs that from your on-prem world up to Entra ID in the cloud.
And honestly, PHS offers this really powerful mix of being simple and super resilient. Your users get a seamless experience, they just use the same password they already know. But the absolute best part? That built-in backup. If your on-prem servers decide to take an unexpected vacation, authentication can still happen in the cloud. That is a fantastic baseline for resilience.
Okay, so our next option is pass-through authentication, or PTA. Now, if PHS is the synchronizer, you can think of PTA as the strict on-premises gatekeeper. So when a user tries to log into, say, a cloud app, Entra ID doesn't handle it. Instead, it securely passes that request down through this lightweight little agent on your local network and validates the password directly against your own on-prem Active Directory.
So, what's the big deal with PTA? It all comes down to one word: control. With PTA, your users' credentials, they never get stored in the cloud, not in any form. For any organization with really strict security policies or data privacy rules, this is a huge win. You keep total authority right inside your own four walls.
And that brings us to our third and final option, federation. You can think of this one as the flexible delegate. See, instead of Entra ID doing the sign-in, it just hands off the whole process. It delegates it to another trusted system that you control, something like Active Directory Federation Services, or ADFS. This is the go-to when you have really complex existing identity systems that you need to integrate.
Federation is really the powerhouse for those more complex setups. It's the key to unlocking true single sign-on across a whole bunch of different apps. And just like PTA, passwords aren't sent to Microsoft, but it gives you way more flexibility to plug in advanced security measures or handle some really unique authentication needs.
Okay, so we've met our three main players. Now for the big question: how on earth do you choose? Let's put them side by side and see how they stack up. This table really lays it all out, doesn't it? If you look at that complexity column, you can see PHS is the easiest to manage, but remember, it does store those hashes in the cloud. PTA keeps your credentials on-prem, which adds a little more complexity. And then you've got federation, which gives you all the power of true SSO, but man, it is by far the most complex to set up and keep running. So the big question you have to ask is, where do our priorities land on this spectrum?
But here's the thing. The choice isn't always about picking just one of these. What if you could actually combine the best features? Well, that brings us to a really popular strategy that a lot of folks call the golden combo.
Okay, so here's the magic behind it. First, you implement password hash sync. That's your foundation. This gives you that incredible redundancy we talked about. Authentication is always on, even if your on-prem stuff is down. Then, for all your users on corporate machines, you flip the switch on seamless single sign-on. And what this does is it just uses their existing Windows login to automatically sign them into cloud apps. It's completely frictionless for them.
And when you put those two together, what do you get? You get the resilience of PHS, which means your people can always work, combined with the totally effortless user experience of SSO. I mean, that's a powerful 1-2 punch that boosts security and productivity. It's strong, it's invisible to your users, which is pretty much the perfect IT outcome, right?
So after seeing all these options, and especially that golden combo, I hope you're feeling like you're in the driver's seat now. You've got the knowledge to really take control of your organization's identity strategy.
And that's really the main takeaway here. Understanding these different methods means you are no longer just clicking a default option during setup. No, you can actually architect a solution that is perfectly tailored to your company's unique security needs, its compliance rules, and, just as important, what you want your users to experience.
And so that brings us to the final question, and this one's for you. Now that you have this clarity, you're equipped to make a really smart decision. So take a look at your environment. Think about your users and your security posture. Which identity bridge are you going to build to secure your organization's future in the cloud?